minds. And this was the percentage of adults who say they worry or are stressed related to the coronavirus that has had a negative impact on their mental health based on job or income loss. Again, some of this is a decrease in income, as I know people aren't getting as many hours, or they're on unemployment, or maybe some of their workplaces has done some income reduction of 10 or 15% I've seen. So again, 29% of people or 26% of people has had a major impact on their thinking and their mental health. And then 28% had a minor impact. So 54% of people, this is really impacting their mental health. And then have not lost a job or income. And again, 15% and 25%. So again, the people are very worried. This is on people's minds. And that seems to track about where we are. So some things about just coping with the stress. What we know about these stressors that are affecting all of us. And what's unusual about this pandemic, and myself as a therapist, but in the helping professions, where we're used to helping people, and lots of times it could be, we're used to helping people. If that house is burning and we run in to help them, that's fine because it's not happening to us. But with this pandemic, our own houses are experiencing, are burning. So it's a very different scenario. It's not happening to somebody else that you're helping. It's happening to everybody. And it's unprecedented. And I've heard that word over and over. And it can be difficult to manage the new normal. Like for me today, here I am, my new normal. And I was just talking to Josh, who has been doing the polling, about I'm used to being in a room full of people when I do training and talking and getting their energy and, kind of going back and forth. I'm not doing that. And you're also seeing me trying to adjust using a poll, using, a webinar format where personally I would get people's energy and their presence, and I'm not. So again, I'm constantly having to adjust to that and set and maintain boundaries. That is something that's really helpful with our time, with access to social media, news, work, and personal limits. Very important, and it's really easy to have those boundaries be diffuse. Even as we're working from home, I move my office into our library. In the morning, I'm in the kitchen, but I move it because I know by end of day, I need to not look at my computer, because when I look at my computer and I see it sitting there, if it's on my kitchen island, I'm thinking about work. So I kind of need it out of sight, out of mind, and put some limits on that. And again, an acceptance of feeling where we're at and noticing that, I am also having some personal losses due to this. And I can easily push aside how I'm feeling because I can be really busy about work and everything about work. And I need to push that aside sometimes and just acknowledge some of the losses. I have a senior in high school, and she is not going through graduation in the traditional way. And it's my last one. And, changing that relationship with the school that I've been involved with for over 10 years now, because this is my last one and I'm not going out in the way that I thought it would be. But again, just acknowledging that there's some loss here and I'm grieving, doing some things. So again, listening to that, but also accessing other people that are feeling the same thing or going through that same experience. And then when we are emotionally and mentally fatigued, sometimes it helps, and physical fatigue helps. And I have been very mindful of getting outside every day and moving. So that really helps us cope. And whether that's gardening, walking, working out. I like cleaning because I always can look at what I've done and say, job done. And I like that. It feels good to me. So it helps shift how I'm thinking to something else and feeling productive. And again, not being able to reach out and talk to someone to learn some other strategies. And we're going to dig into that a little bit further as we get along here today. I see that there's a question. Let me go back. Joel, let me see the chat box. All the above was not an option. Okay. Okay, Angela, that was a good question. I agree. Because that is really how a lot of people are feeling. I've got all those things going on for me. I'm dealing with all those stressors or all those worries. So yes, that's true too. I just kind of wanted to see what was on people's mind the most. But yeah, thank you for that feedback. Okay, so to that point, let's talk a little more about mental health. We have another question coming up. And I don't have all the above on this one either. So you're teaching me things. So let's go ahead with this question, Josh.
It's launched.
Okay, it's coming at us.
Sharon, are you not seeing the question, the poll?
I am not.
So the question is, how are the stressors affecting your mental, your mental COVID-19, or affecting your mental? Is COVID-19 impacting your mental health? So, select only one. Got a couple more people.
Are you launching it or trying to?
It's launched. We have 42 people who have read it. Yep.
Okay. Great.
Wait, one more.
Thanks everybody for participating. I just kind of want it to be as interactive and kind of see where everybody is compared to what I'm seeing nationally. And we're doing pretty good in some areas. Okay. Right. Oh, great. And
Sharon, are you seeing the
I am.
the poll? Okay, perfect.
Okay. Yep. Are you done? Is this the results?
Yes. Yep. These are the results.
Oh, did you quickly add in? Not at all. Okay, that was great. Wow. Okay, so increased anxiety. So here's what we know nationally. So 45% of people say that this COVID-19, this pandemic, and everything that's related to it is affecting their mental health by 45%. And that's and I think that I'm seeing that everywhere. The other thing I think that's interesting is just before COVID-19, 1/3 of all adults said that this, experience anxiety, okay? And that can be not long-term, but at least once a week, okay? Or once on a monthly basis, many on a monthly basis. So when we look at this poll and what we're noticing, 39% of you are increased anxiety. And again, that is exactly what we're seeing out there in the community with anxiety. And then also increased depression, absolutely. We know that anxiety is the #1 mental health disorder. And I'm going to say, working here at the Employee Assistance Program at Ohio State, that is exactly what I see in our population here. When I look at mental health issues, that's by far and above how most people come to the Employee Assistance Program, is mental health issues are primary. And the #1 is increased anxiety. So again, this is tracking exactly how people are seeing this or experiencing this pandemic. Increased depression, absolutely. Loneliness, that is something I am very concerned about with people because, again, the self-isolation, while life-saving, also can really cause people a lot of distress. Again, change in sleep concerns, change in appetite. I'm glad those aren't really big problems. Increased distress, absolutely, for a variety of reasons. We also know that if people have a previous history of having a mental health issue, that the pandemic will make that worse. Any kind of trauma or stressor will make an existing mental health disorder worse. Just like if you have a physical health problem, stress makes that worse. So again, let's see what else in here. more flexibility to tend to loved ones. That's an upside. And then I'm not sure, and then other. So I see a question. Let me see in the chat. I do, that's a great question, Chris. You know, people do have some sleep concerns, and again, that can be anxiety or that can be depression. It can go either way. And I'm curious too about having what people would say, you know, they could have multiple choices here. But I just kind of wanted to have one at a time and see what's people's most primary concerns. And again, that increased anxiety, which is exactly what we're seeing nationally. And that also has to do with uncertainty, because everything that we're doing with, when they say unprecedented, this hasn't happened before in the way that it has, even with the entire world. If you've had conversations with people outside of the United States, it's the same thing. I remember seeing in the New York, I think it was New York Times, they had this whole photo shoot of different places across the world, like in Paris, I think in Hong Kong, all different places, and they called it the Big Empty. Every one of these famous landmark places in these countries was empty. So again, this is a shared experience. So thank you for that. And we're going to go on. So what's interesting here, and I'm going to move on, is it is May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And I saw this too, and I really liked it. I hope I can get the sound to go this time. But this was really good because this is Mental Health Awareness Month, but these are people that are really talking about or sharing what's going on for them and their experience with their mental health. And the one thing, someone very close to us, Kevin Love, is in this as well from Cleveland. So I'm going to share this.
Heightened anxiety and mild symptoms.
Sharon, I'm still having problems hearing audio.
Let me go back, see if I can. Does it matter if I put my speaker up?
Yeah, try to turn your speaker up all the way, and then there you go. And then try to play it through your headphones or. Sharon, on the top of the screw,
Yeah.
if you don't mind unsharing your screen.
Okay.
And then when you click on share your screen at the bottom, there's a button that says like share audio.
Gotcha.
Of that screen.
Okay.
Try that.
All right, let me go back up. Go back to share screen.
Yep, share screen.
Okay.
And then at the bottom,
I see it. I got it.
the
Perfect.
share computer sound. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Q, for the for that quick tip.
That is great. Okay, let's try.
I've had heightened anxiety and mild panic attacks at the playground with my own children and wife there, and the feeling was so gripping, so terrifying that I literally had to leave and excuse myself.
What happened? Oh.
I've had heightened anxiety and mild panic attacks at the playground with my own children and wife there, and the feeling was so gripping, so terrifying that I literally had to leave and excuse myself. This is kind of the downside of the way God made me, and there's a tremendous upside as well.
I now have not stopped talking about it, mainly because I want people to hear that it's not a big deal and that you can be happy and healthy and no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
I can tell you I've probably had at least half a dozen depression spells that I've gone through, and the one in 2014, I didn't want to be alive.
I love that, especially Kevin Love. He has been just so out in front with this, and I love that because he really takes away stigma and just really normalizes that. You know, we all have our concerns, our own mental health struggles, and let's just take care of them and be open and honest. And I love that. But here's what we know nationally. Anxiety disorders, again, number one, 18% of people experience that here in the United States. Major depressive disorders, that's 6.8%. Substance use disorder, 8%, and then post-traumatic stress disorder. And then any mental health disorder. And again, these can have varying degrees. They are, can be mild, moderate, or severe based on the intensity and the frequency of symptoms. What we know is 1 in 5 people here in the United States have a mental health disorder at some time in their lives. So, and again, that's a high percentage of our population that at one time people have this. And we know 57% of people are experiencing anxiety related to this COVID-19. So anxiety, real quick, I'm just going to run through what some of these symptoms are. It's worry, fatigue, muscle tension, irritability, hypervigilant or being on edge, and then again, sleep issues, and then problems with concentration. And then major depressive disorder, again, some sleep issues, sleeping too much, not sleeping enough, feelings of sadness, guilt, or again, anxiety there. Irritability, and sometimes I see that more with men and teenagers. Sometimes they let us know through their anger that they are experiencing some depression. Low energy and loss of interest in weight loss or gain. And so again, those are some of the symptoms with major depressive disorder. Substance use disorder, again, here in Ohio, we know a lot about this with the heroin epidemic that goes on, and also with alcohol. With all the Zoom and happy hours that are going on, I think people are trying to take their edge off of their anxiety disorders or even some of their depression by how much liquor sales are up. They are one of the biggest things that are up during this pandemic at all the grocery stores. And I think liquor stores are considered necessary. So people are going in. So I'm concerned about what alcohol abuse is going to look like when this pandemic ends, because I think they're not having to drive. They may choose to drink more. They're dealing with uncomfortable feelings or a lot of stressors. They may be drinking more than they have ever or normally do. Post-traumatic stress disorder, 6.8% of people. And again, post-traumatic stress disorder, lots of people think that in terms of the military, but this can be from car accidents. This can be through witnessing a traumatic event. It could be a sexual assault or a physical assault, any kinds of things like that. It could have been Hurricane Katrina, being directly involved with that, 9/11. Again, it's exposure to, witnessing of, or even being directly involved of a traumatic event. And again, that's reliving the event, avoidance of things that remind you of that event. Again, being on edge, have negative thoughts and feelings. And women experience this more than men. And there's a lot of other mental health disorders, which is 18.5% of the population. The thing that's really important to note with post-traumatic stress disorder right now, and I have seen this for years in my own practice, is people that have a history of having been traumatized, any kind of traumatic event, and we saw this after 9/11, even if people weren't there, weren't present, and they had a previous disorder of a mental health disorder, would show up in my office, even though they were not directly involved in 9/11, and especially around the anniversary, really having their PTSD exacerbated. So again, this pandemic is also really exposing people that have had a previous history of post-traumatic stress disorder. So again, this is some of the stuff that, again, is adding to, we know that stress is, managing stress is foundational to good mental health. We know that's a building block. But with the stuff that's going on, this pandemic productivity is so real. And I'm hearing it from people. I'm hearing some people said, I have never been busier and I'm just working all the time. And then I've heard people, I'm not working so much. Or people are like, I'm trying to, manage both. And so people are getting emotionally, physically exhausted and mentally with all the constant change that's being required and flexibility. And again, stopping to be reasonable with yourself, setting goals and expectations with tasks. And I have to do this as well. I really struggle at times because I want to keep working and I need to step back and do something else that's more healthy for myself. But I'm also hoping that managers and supervisors and coworkers are also looking out for their employees, because you can really get hooked into working from home and looking at flexibility. Quarantine fatigue, that is also happening. People are getting tired of this. And we're seeing, I think, some people, as things open up, are impatient, waiting in lines or having to go by these guidelines because I think they're angry, they're exhausted about being what they perceive maybe totally isolated and alone and tired of following rules, and they just want to break out. So I see that happening, and that comes out often as anger towards others. But again, the thing that I'm concerned about is with what's happening with all the social distancing, the business closures, the school closures, and the shelter in place, it really is leading to a lot more social isolation. While maybe life-saving, we know that social isolation is a contributing factor to poor mental health. So, and again, these are things to be on the lookout with the elderly population and teenagers, because they are a lot more susceptible to loneliness and isolation. So here's what helps. Now, why isn't this working for me? There we go. Communication. Clear is kind. Be upfront, talk with your employees, talk with your friends, be clear about what's going on. And if you don't have all the information, say that. Again, some information or saying we're still working on it or still trying to come up with a clear plan is more information. People tend to fill in spaces when there's a lack of information with negative information. So again, I think if you are working on something or having to message something out, sometimes saying, I don't have all the information, but we're working on it is a good strategy, but be very clear. Focus on what you can control. And again, we can't always control what's going on outside of here with what's going on in the news, what's going on at work, or sometimes, with people around us. And again, just focus on what you can control. I think one of the things that I have been most sensitive to has been the weather. And that has been something that is really out of my control. And I have really wanted it to be more sunny so I can at least look out the window from working or getting outside more. And there's just been some times where I feel really stuck. So I have to think about what it is that I can control, which is doing stuff around my house or focusing on other things. Limit your news consumption. So one of the multiple exposures that we have, especially with the 24-hour news cycle and Twitter and everything, you can just absorb so much information. Sometimes I find it overwhelming, my own self, and also triggering. And that's one thing I can control, how much news that I want and where I want to get it from. So I had early on in this COVID pandemic, I just stopped watching the news and just really focusing on what came out of either with President Drake or Dr. Paz, because again, it was very clear up front, and just limiting, because I just felt like I had so much information coming out on my social media accounts, from TV, from news. So again, notice how you feel after you're watching the news. If you find that it's helpful, then okay, stay with it. If you find that you don't feel good, turn it off. You have control over that. Make self-care a priority. Again, it's really easy to let things go. Whether that's exercise, whether that's spending time reading a book, whether that's doing some cooking or coloring, or I colored some pictures and put them in my windows for kids that walked by, and that was really fun. And my family, we started playing more games. But again, giving yourself a break and taking care of you are you eating healthy? Are you adding structure to your day? Structure gives us predictability and control. and getting up every morning, taking a shower, doing what you need to do. Find positive distractions. Again, my daughter did a really cute thing. I have a daughter that lives out of town, and I had bought some postcards, a stack of postcards from somewhere. I was on vacation. Just they were decorative. And she said, you know, what I did one day is, I wrote postcards to all my friends from the ones that you gave me. And she said, you know, I sent out 10 of them just, you know, to let them know I was thinking of them, but finding something positive. We're puzzlers. We sit around and we puzzle and do that, or we cook. But again, finding something positive, volunteering, checking in on neighbors, all those things. Staying connected, super important. I cannot emphasize this enough. Whether it's FaceTiming with people, we know that, again, with this social isolation, when people are feeling bad, they have a hard time reaching out. So you reach out to others, or be intentional about doing that. Texting. My daughter did the writing thing, stopping by and checking on neighbors, or, you know, talking to them. I know that Zoom happy hours are happening, or Zoom calls, or whatever. It was actually really cute last night. We have been having one with a bunch of friends on Thursdays, and someone forgot to schedule one, and there was a bunch of texts. People were starting to realize they wanted that time together, and why hadn't someone, you know, how'd that drop off the schedule? And it was cute, but it had become a habit now. So again, I can't emphasize staying connected is really important. And then this is going to be something we're going to talk about more: when to seek help. Seeking help, speaking to a professional, and that, you know, is something we want to talk about. This is a great time to do this, and there's lots of opportunities, but right now we really need to do that. I want to mention this very quickly. When you have, this is a perfect kind of storm right now, when we look at people that are at risk of becoming suicide or thinking of suicide. When you have the perfect storm of financial difficulties or challenges along with isolation, it is a bad mix. And we have seen spikes after Hurricane Katrina, again, a big trauma, and after 9/11, and also in the Great Recession of 2008, when people were isolated and had financial difficulties. That, again, we really need to be looking out for each other and ourselves if you feel this way. But again, I wanted to put this out there, people that are threatening to hurt themselves or others, or oneself, researching ways to end one's life, expressing hopelessness, or impulsive behaviors like drinking, online buying right now, those kinds of things. Access to weapons or medicines. And again, here's another one that I'm concerned about, is the increase in substance use or abuse. Again, with the rise that we're seeing in alcohol consumption and people not having to drive and, you know, trying to manage themselves, changes in mood, giving away possessions. And if you see people making end of life arrangements like wills or different things like that, again, just something to be aware of, because I'm concerned about the environment that we're in. So our best strategy, if you are struggling with anxiety or depression, the best thing that can help us, the antidote to some of these things that are going on, is action. And that is really what my hope is, it being Mental Health Awareness Month. But I want us to move to action, especially if we feel isolated or worried. So the best strategy is making a move and taking control. So the best way to do this is, let's do some window shopping for resources. So again, it's really good to look before you decide to buy. And so let's do some window shopping about what's available to offer support for yourself or somebody else. So I'm going to promote my own program, which is the Ohio State EAP. Again, no cost. You can call us at the 800 number here on your screen. We also have an electronic service request form. Again, you can do that all online through our website. We are all on a telehealth platform. So again, you can see all us from the comfort of your home or your office. And you don't need to come to our office. We can do it all remotely on a secure platform. And so you can use one of the internal EAP staff, or you can use a network provider. That used to be really important. when you wanted to, go to someone's office that was close to your home. You can still choose to do that. A lot of our providers are all online. Again, and you can email requests to our email box. The only people that see that are the people in my office. And you can go through the web access at osuhealthplan.com, Ohio State EAP, and start there. So some other options, we have started BetterHelp. It is the largest online counseling platform worldwide. And a lot of those referrals are same day, 24 hours from referral to speaking to a provider. Again, up to 5 sessions. What is great about this is they have multiple languages available. 8 different languages are available, including Spanish, and there's Hebrew, Persian, Hindi, ASL, American Sign Language, Mandarin, Urdu, and Yiddish. So again, multiple languages available, which is great, and many modes to provide counseling. You can do texting, video, or telephonic. Again, the time schedule's individualized, and it's great for people that have shifts that they need to work instead of that straight 9 to 5 and or have busy schedules. So again, they will refer you and get up to 5 sessions at no cost. We have Tess. Tess is a mental health chatbot. And, oops, I see a question. Let me see if I can answer that. Yes, you can receive this after. Tess is a mental health chatbot. Again, really easy to get into it. I have Tess on my phone. She's kind of been fun. Gives you in-the-moment support. Again, it's confidential. You can do it on your phone or your tablet, and you just text hi to 415-360-0023, and you use the code word Buckeyes. Or again, if you go to our website, you can access Tess this way. And again, the information's up here too. It is a great thing. Tess uses all kinds of mental health strategies to provide support and give you in-the-moment support and ideas how to manage your anxiety or your depression or other stressors going on using mindfulness. It's a great resource for people that like that kind of texting relationship instead of always talking to a person, or, gee, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I could really use some support. So it's a great thing to do that. And again, it's confidential. There's our own STAR program here at Ohio State, and this is stress, trauma, and resilience, and it's great. And you can reach them through STAR Trauma Recovery Center at osumc.edu. This is a great resource for people, and they have great services. And let's do some more window shopping. Oops, here we go. NAMI has some great resources, National Alliance on Mental Illness, at www.nami.org. Again, National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, again, the number there. The chat crisis line, again, for those people that like to chat via texting. Harding Hospital, another great local resource, whether it's there on campus or over at Zollinger Road, they're all on telehealth platforms, which is just great. The Office of Human Resources, their website, about keeping well. There's Keep Learning and there's Keep Well. Lots of great information on there about the coronavirus. And of course, our Chief Wellness Officer in her office at wellness.osu.edu, Chief Wellness Officer. Lots of resources there too. So let's do a little bit more shopping about what's out there. Mental Health America. I love this. Take a check up from the neck up. It's free, private, and anonymous. Great resource. We're all busy doing COVID testing and all of that. Why aren't we doing mental health checkups? So this is a great thing too to do. So at mhascreening.org, they do Mental Health America in Franklin County is a great resource here, but this is their national website, which will lead you to the local. Just giving you a bunch of opportunities as we window shop through what's available. Individual health coaching here at the OSU Health Plan. They have individual health coaching, they do group health coaching, they have stress management classes, or if you need something positive to do, you can jump in and do some weight management or other kinds of physical activity. Again, a great resource because we know that exercise is really important to mental health and movement. So this, again, at no cost, and they're a great team at the OSU Health Plan, and they have stress management. So again, great resource. Some other things, at our EAP, and I neglected to mention to this, but it's available for employees, their benefits eligible dependents, your spouses, your partners, people that live in your household, your parents and parents-in-law. So it's a very rich benefit, up to 5 sessions. Something I want to mention here, with all the financial distress that could be going on for people, we have a great financial resource through Uprising. They will help with debt consolidation. They can help you with all kinds of resources that you needed related to financial aspect, budget planning, what resources are available if you are having problems with managing your bills or job loss or some income insecurity issues. The one, again, remembering this is one of the big stressors for people at this time, and also really is a problem with mental health because it gets into your worry. Do something about it, and it's at no cost, and you'll get a financial counselor who will just talk to you, and you can use the same person. It's free, it's confidential. We have legal services, consultation up for a half hour at no cost. And then if you need a lawyer, they will refer you to somebody locally to help with that issue. Elder care, that's been a serious concern of people through this pandemic. My own family, we have people in nursing homes, we cannot go see them, and they may not understand that we can't see them, and that is distressing to us and them. So there's also some resources. We have a robust elder care benefit available telephonically, and again, you can have 5 sessions or more at no cost. Okay. And again, child care locator and just health and wellness resources. The other thing is we are also at the EAP doing mental health awareness workshops, and we can do it online if you want to do a deeper dive. We really believe in taking away stigma from mental health and getting people to resources that they need, and doing this with care and compassion. So again, really trying to create a culture of caring and getting people to use all the fabulous window shopping resources we just talked about. Here they are again, us, OSU EAP. You can do it telephonically. That is answered by a live counselor, and they will match you with somebody, and it's 24/7. Our mailbox, EAP at osumc.edu. And then our health plan website, osuhealthplan.com, Ohio State EAP. And that's where you can get tests. That's where you can do online service requests for counseling if you don't want to pick up the phone, but you can write it out and they'll link you within 1 business day. Or if you wanted to do BetterHelp, same thing. And then Your Plan for Health has great resources through the Virgin Pulse app, which is Will, and some other resources for mental health and well-being, as well as physical activity. And let's see, anything else? Again, going through this real quickly because I would love to take questions. Hopefully you've learned the impact of the pandemic on mental health. Most importantly, how to take care of you. We've done some window shopping, sampling before you decide what you might want to choose from, and then how you can get connected to those resources. And yes, we'll make this presentation available for you so that you can connect to that. Okay, time for questions and comments. So, what questions do you have?
You can, if you want to type them into the chat box. I don't see any questions right now, or we've answered some during the presentation, but if you have any questions, feel free to just type them in the chat box and we can ask them for you.
Hopefully your virtual lunch is good and you're enjoying that. As well as, I know I gave you a lot of resources, but there's something here for everyone. That is something that's great here at Ohio State, that there are so many resources to pick from richly.
Yeah, so Sharon, there's a question about parents using EAP counseling benefit, even if they're not on our insurance or in the household.
Absolutely. Yes. It's a very rich benefit. All they have to do is call the 800 number, or you can link them through our website, and they can do that. So my parents live in Florida. If they wanted to get some EAP sessions, they can absolutely do that. They just need to identify that I'm their daughter and I'm the employee, and then they can get linked. And it's a great time right now with telehealth. They can do that. So that's a great thing. So yes, great question.
All right, any last minute questions? You can type them in the chat box. Oop, we have one more coming in.
So there's another question, and this is a good one. So the 5 sessions are at no cost. If you are on the OSU Health Plan benefit, the vast majority of the EAP counselors are also on the OSU Health Plan benefit, because what happens is sometimes you get a relationship going or a problem takes time, longer time than 5 sessions to resolve. So after you've used your 5 sessions, then you can access your OSU Health Plan benefit through your insurance and then start paying, your co-pays or co-insurance. So yes, that's a good question. So it is 5 sessions. If, let's say you have somebody that isn't on OSU Health Plan insurance, because we have employees that get the EAP benefit, but they're not on the OSU Health Plan, that counselor that they see will work with them if they need additional counseling or other resources. Will work with them in linking them to the appropriate benefits. But I look at the EAP as the front door to many resources in Columbus, Franklin County. So yes, that's a good question.
There's a second one about if the 5 sessions reset every calendar year.
I don't look. Yes and no. So that's a really good question, because a lot of people want to see that person. It's really, you can see somebody the next year if your problem got resolved in that 5 sessions and you have a good relationship, and say, hey, I need to go back in for a little tune-up and just kind of talk to them about this. Yes, you can do that, but what we really look at is problem resolution. So if I went in January, and let's just say I was having some seasonal affective disorder, and I went in and saw the counselor, and I saw them for like 4 sessions, and I got back on track and things went well. But let's say it's September and my kids are bugging me and school's back in session and we're just having some conflict. I could go back again because it's a different issue. So yes, it's not necessarily per year, but per problem. But it's not meant to be, 5 sessions a year. It's not meant to be used for long-term therapy. It's really for short-term problem solving or linking to services. So hopefully that answered that question. Because sometimes, things are fine after a couple of sessions, and then something else that's completely different comes back up. Yes, go ahead and use us. But yeah, it's usually 5 sessions a year. But it's, again, not meant to be a long-term solution. Good question.
Any last minute questions? Keep watching.
Yep. I appreciate everybody bearing with me with the web difficulties, the technical difficulties. Again, still learning.
All right, well, thank you so much, Sharon. That was a great presentation, lots of great information and resources we can all use. And everyone who attended, you all will be receiving a follow-up email that'll have an evaluation. If you would please take a couple minutes to fill it out, we would very much appreciate it. And there will also be a link to the slides as well. So you'll be receiving those again. And everyone have a great weekend.
Thank you.